That's the wrong screen. Pretend like you didn't see that. Hello, hi. Yes, I am live at 3 in the morning. Hi, Apple. I would give you a shout out, but since I got my new PC, I have been so lazy that I haven't set up my new commands. Because I don't know how to, I literally forgot how to set it up. I've literally been the laziest bitch alive. Like, I just don't care anymore. So, yep, I definitely didn't mess up my screens. But thank you for coming. Yes, I am live. I'm going live right now. Because, first of all, I'm very mentally ill. And my sleep schedule is bad. Ever consider that? That's true. So true. Also, I want to take pictures at the sunrise on the beach, and I think that is going to be the serve of the century, so I'm going to stream until sunrise. So, there's that. I'm supposed to be... I'm never going to fix mine. I don't care. I don't care. I literally don't give a shit! Who cares? Not about, like, you, but, like, me. Like, my sleep schedule. I'm never fixing mine. I usually don't do a middle part. I did a middle part in my hair today. So I have a giant forehead. So I've been always afraid to do it, but... And I'm also wearing a corset, for you on the stream. Can I show the raid? Can I show the raid? Nikki, I was just in your stream because I opened up Stream Queens and you were still streaming and I was like, this bitch looks stunning. You look stunning. Thank you so much for the raid. I'm wearing a corset if everybody would like to look. The body is cinched in the chair. We are cinched, tucked, pulled. I don't know. I did a little photo shoot because I wanted to feel gender euphoric and I wanted to feel sexy and fun. So I did a little photo shoot in my other room, my bedroom. Yeah, I'm live really late because I did that photo shoot and I want to take pictures at the sunrise. So I'm gonna stream until sunrise. But thank you so much for the raid, Nikki. How was your stream? You know I live for you, bitch. I'd give you my... I was just telling Apple that my my new chatbot with my new PC, I haven't been able to set up anything because I've been the laziest bitch alive. So I don't have anything set. I don't have any commands. Woo! Oh my god, yeah, I've been wanting to play that. I bet your clips are gonna be fucking hilarious. I can't wait to see. I'll live through you for now because I can't buy anything with that price point with all of these events coming up. PAX East, and then I'm trying to go to the Scooby-Doo Museum, and then TwitchCon. I'm like, I'll live through someone else. I will not be doing that. Good morning, Setter Guy. Hi, House Music. Thank you all so much for the follows. If anybody doesn't know who I am off of Nikki's raid, also, Nikki, if you want to raid and run, that's totally fine, but do whatever you want, because I know that vibe of wanting to take the lashes and wig off. But anybody just coming in, I'm Nemesis, they're in the network here every Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, Sunday, whatever day. Woo! Let me restart! I like that everybody's raiding because everybody's going to bed and I just started. Hey everyone! So true. My head hurts already. We just started streaming. Anybody just coming in, please drop a follow so you can speak in the chat because I only have followers only mode. But also, anybody just coming off of Nikki and Achu's raid that I just found out the other day is a pun, Achu, get it? It's funny. My name is Nemesis. I'm here 5 times a week in drag, in makeup, whatever you want to consider it, because I don't consider myself a drag queen sometimes. I just am a pretty entity on this earth. My pronouns are they, them. My name's Nemesis. You can call me Nem or Nemi. And we do a variety retro content here. And I'm also a Capcom creator, so we're gonna play Resident Evil Village tonight, because I want to play it. I think we're gonna get the fish boss done, at least. Because I am me like booked, like I'm like, yeah, I gotta go, but I'm gonna go take photos at the sunrise around 5 o'clock on the beach. So hopefully that's a sexy, fun photo shoot. Especially because I just did my hair. I like put mousse in it and then I curled it and got like beachy waves. But yeah, hi. Hey. Hi everybody. Hi Nemesis, how are you doing today? I'm doing good. Yeah, Achu, before you came in, I'm corseted for the live. Isn't that sexy? Corset, you can see it right here. And then pulled in right here. That might be my bulge. Let's not look at that. Anyways, girl cock. We're gonna switch over to the game, the video game. I don't know why I'm cinched. I should probably take off the cincher for 2 hours, but whatever. Also, if you see my nipples, don't look.
Mikey_0101 donated $50 for mortuary assistant Athena PMs.
Oh, that's so nice! Thank you! Oh, cool! Thank you so much! That is so generous! I don't know if I can install it because we're already live, but the next stream if you want to come out. That is so generous. I will be streaming this weekend, so if you wanna come out. That is so nice, thank you. Fuck! That's so cool. Hi, Monster Cat. Hi, Saint. Okay. Already regretting wearing this corset. But it's fine. I want to feel sexy. I want to feel sexy, baby. Do I make you horny, baby? Not from SpongeBob. You're so silly. Boobs. Hi, Dylan. Streamer Twitch girl, thank you for the follow. Oh! Excuse me. But one thing, Vecna, so true. That's the only thing oh, I'm supposed to hit A. Me just like waiting for something to happen. True. Hi, Jabaka. Okay. I'm feeling insecure. I'm not wearing a necklace. And I have a middle part going on. But we're here. I'm too fancy for this world. Baby, Is this the house? It is. Hat laid on the town. Or should we say village? Winks. Winks. Giggles. And shits and farts. Peas cutely. Where is what's his name? Oh, we have to probably find it in the village. Oh, Jesus. Here we go. Oh, I did say something. Oh, I was just saying, like, that's the only thing I know about Stranger Things. Like, I haven't seen Euphoria or Stranger Things. I live through one of my mods because he'll watch all those shows and then just tell me because, like, I can't sit through a show. Honestly, I'm way too ADD for that. I'm like, I need to do something. I need stuff to do. So, like, I know everything about Euphoria and Stranger Things. I just haven't watched it, but... See, I know about Game of Thrones as well. I just watched the spoilers on TikTok. I saw when that bitch blew up that one place with the green smoke. She was like, period. And I was like, you better slay, queen. Always threw me off the way objective is to collect Rose. Please. Yeah, just collect her in the pea jars. It's so funny. It's not really funny considering his baby's cut up into different pieces, but it's funny for us, not Ethan. But is it funny in the first place? Does the iCarly stare? Looks around. Does it even matter? Does the iCarly stare again? Does it even matter? If you know what Ethan is. I know what you are, Ethan. I know what you are. Also, my nipples are hairy. Please don't look. I shaved my chest, but not my nipples. Okay, it is loud. Never mind. I was like, this doesn't sound like as loud as it can be, but it does. It's very loud. Please, it's late at night. I can't. I'm too sexy for this world. Claude from Fire album. Well, where do we put that? Claudie. The pink plort. Gotta keep an eye out for Celine or... The way that was a lip sync on Drag Race and it was just wasted. Like, can you believe? We were so robbed. I wanted someone to take their eye out on Drag Race. Eye reveal, take the eye out. The eye has a wig on it, and then it starts lip syncing to gotta keep an eye out for Celine, or then put it back in. Beauty, Beauty and the Beast. Oh, there was a new episode of Canada today. I missed it. I'll watch it later. No, literally, that song... I mean, not that song. The album is, like... I actually have it on repeat. My first listen of Renaissance, I wasn't really, like, vibing, but... I think that's what a lot of people are saying. Like, they're vibing after the second or third listen. I definitely have... I'm that girl. I literally, there's so many emails I get from World of Wonder that's like, there's a new episode out of Canada or Drag Race, or I'm like, please. Album of the year, Poopy of the year, Poop of the day, Vivian Bonet. Sorry. Can someone clip that? I say so much and I can't clip it anymore because my stream deck is dead. There's so much shit I wish I could clip and then I just can't because my stream deck is gone. If anything, I'm more invested in the judges panel than the queens. You're interested in... What's his name? You're interested in... Tracy Melshore? Don't get me wrong. Tracy's cool, but like doesn't hold up to Stacey McKenzie. What did she do that Stacey just didn't come back? Like, did they just like not like her? Like, what is it? They were like, yeah, because COVID, and then like the next season happened, and they were like, yeah, actually, never mind. You're not coming back, Stacey. Hi, Kay. What happened to the stream deck? It just doesn't have any commands set on it, so I can't do anything with it. Like, I used to have all my commands saved, and now I have to redo all of them. I have to redo the entire soundboard. I have to redo everything. Not fun for me. I have to redo my chat commands and my soundboard, and just none of it is fun. So I'm like, whatever. Streaming is about having fun. I'm not trying to sit here for like 3 hours prior to do work on it. Like, can I just have a good time? That's what I want. So I might have to take off this corset because I'm like getting dizzy. Oopsie. Teehee. Then I have to zip myself up back in this dress. I don't want to do that. I use a lockpick. Did you know there's like side quests in this game? I didn't know that. Like, there's like a side boss you can do, and it's like a cannibal monster guy. We never did it our first time we played. It's like a secret boss. Did any of y'all know that? Did any of y'all know that? Yeah, I'll try to show. I don't know where it is. I'll try to show it off. Tonight I'm gonna show you off. I'm gonna try to like take this dress off, but not. Oh yeah, I can. I don't have to unzip it. Wait, I might have to. Fuck. What's happening? Are these lies and deception? I'll show you lies and deception with these nuts. Okay, I'm really trying. This is when I'm supposed to have a boyfriend to help me get out of my corset. I did it. Good job, Marshall. Oh, wow. Okay. I live in another state, I'm sorry. No, literally. It's okay, long distance works. It sure does, baby. Okay, I actually can't flash you guys today because I'm not wearing panties, so let's not do that. Yes, I saw. I'm not a Dead by Daylight player, but I'm excited for the Resident Evil chapter though. That looks fun. Am I really gonna have to take off this other pair of panties I'm wearing? I'm gonna have to. I'm so uncomfortable right now. It's crazy. I'm like dressed for a photo shoot, not streaming, so I apologize. Did you see they're adding Sheva? We won! We're finally getting Sheva! Sheva! One of her voice lines is her asking for a rocket launcher. So funny. Oh! Did y'all see my butt and my cooch? Um, anyways. I have to take off this body cincher. Say yes or no if you did. Okay, it's coming off. Come in! Oh my god. Whew, that is so much better. I'm gonna find you. I need. That song goes off. I remember being shamed for listening to that in high school. They were like, "You're gay. You're listening to Selena and Justin Bieber." And like, yeah, let me listen to fucking what's his name. See, I don't even remember the other people's names, so that says a lot about their music, doesn't it? What, Sean Kingston? It's you know. It's so that's that's a wrestler's theme song. That's Kofi Kingston's. Fuck. I really thought that was Sean Kingston. Wait! Kofi Kingston, Sean Kingston? Wait a second. I never realized that. They're not related, but like, I didn't know they had the same last name. Beauty and the Beat make my life complete. And it's all for you. I feel so much better. Now, if you see a Chromatica jockstrap, no, you didn't. Okay, I just pull out my hair, true. I can breathe. I feel alive. I've never felt more alive. When Booyaka Booyaka hit. I'm gonna Booyaka Booyaka your mom. Not right now, she's sleeping. Are you talking about your girlfriend or your actual mom? Because I know you have mommy issues. You like the MILFs, don't you, Squidward? SOS. They don't make theme songs like they did back in the day. They don't make them like that anymore. My work here is done. Would you rather me use the rocket launcher? The shotgun? Look, they picked up stuff. See, it's good for me. You hear those schmeat noises? Yummy cock schmeat. Got some yummy cock schmeat. True. Can you hear the rustling leather ASMR? The squeaky shoes from SpongeBob. I'm gonna be lost in this town forever. I need to get there. Where's that? Where am I? Go forward and go to the big house. Right. Okay. I hear you. I understand. SOS. Bye, Mikey. Thank you so much for coming. I missed you already. All right, we're in the graveyard. That's it. You think you could get away? I got 2 for 1. Ayaya, 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 ayaya. I'm gonna try. I know what route it's on, but I need to, like, assess. Also, like, what? Oh, we need to put the gravestone of Claudia. Where the fuck is Claudia? Claudia, where the fuck are you? Bitch. You dead bitch. You stupid dead bitch. I'm getting impatient, Claudia. Shut up. Shut up, Bev. That was so fucking funny. I didn't say it, but like, that was probably one of the funniest things to happen on stream, honestly. If I do say so. Dude, where the fuck is Miss Claudia? Inspecting. What the fuck? I'm gonna turn into a zombie and fuck. Claudia, where are you? You bitch. You bitch. I'm getting angry. Do I have to find the other piece? The what? What are you saying? Hi Mark, how you doing? My plane is... What are you saying? Is that a copy pasta? Who's copy pasta? Who's pasta? That is so me. Can I count on you? Question mark. All right. Well, clearly this isn't working. What is this? What is this? That's where we started the game, so I can't go back there. What is that? Oh my... Okay. This game... Alright guys, stream just started. Get the timestamp. This is fucking stupid. This is dumb. This is fucking dumb. This is dumb. In it. In it a bit shit. Your mom. Your mom. I wish I could just go blah, 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 blah. See, this is where we're supposed to... Mar, I'm gonna ask you and Baby Doll very nicely. I need you to both bonk each other on the top of the head with a frying pan, and we're all gonna forget that ever existed. We're all gonna X that from our memories. Because I think I forgot about it until this moment. So I just want to thank you for that, for the trauma. You're so sick. You're so sick in the head. I don't remember this part of the game. Why are we fighting a dog? Whose was that? You can X their name, like, censor it. You don't have to, like, just say their name. I think I know who it is. It starts with a C. Or did. Oh! They're like a journey though, like They're so pretty now. I don't know if you keep up with their stuff, but... I mean, we've all had pretty impressive glow-ups. If we're gonna spill tea. We'll always know. Oh, hello, sir. Penis! Why do I hear another one? Hey! Stop it. Oh, can he walk in here? You're a dog. You can't do that. Can you fuck off? I also want to let you know, Mar, that everybody in my channel basically knows about redact down, and that's as far as we're gonna go. We're not gonna talk about the other things on Instagram back in the day. We're not. We're never gonna let that see the light of day. We're never gonna let them. We're not. I would pay so much money to get that shit deleted from the internet. So much money. There are so many things I would pay. It's embarrassing. I mean, we all start somewhere, but like, oh, it was really bad for us. Hello. Oh, Jesus. Oh my God! I don't remember this part of the game at all. Like, I'm dead serious. Nope, I said we're not talking about it, Shadow Scully. We're not discussing. It's not a discussion point. Whoa! Yeah, this is DL lore. My origin story that only like 3 people know that I still talk to. Good morning. Good morning, Ja. How are you doing? I have an itch on my forehead. Is this technically a morning stream for me? Oh my God, morning stream. We won. My UK viewers are probably eating this shit up. And my Australian viewers, because it's like Arvo/nighttime. Thank you. Oh, not me going backwards. Thank you for 2 months of subscription. Thank you. I'm about to go clubbing. You're about to what? You're gonna go to the club. See, I was actually gonna go to the club tonight, but I am a little nervous. I do have to say, with certain things rising in the world, I am a little nervous. I'd like to get a little pokey poke before... Can I use my inventory? Like, what is that about? Hello? Like, hello? Where is it? Come at me. What's up, bitch? Oh, I definitely probably do need my booster, but I'm talking about the other thing that's happening. How is it still not dead? Oh, I'm out ski. Oh my god, I was supposed to save that for the... Oh no. Okay, we restart. Can you kill me? Wait, no, don't kill me. Good morning, Skywolf. Because you're the greatest. You're a champion. You're a champion, greatest of them all. My gamer hunch is really fucking sexy. Jump scare warning. Oh, hello. Oh, ouch! He punched my wiener. My weenie hut general. Haha, got you. Oh. Stop chasing me, freak. All right, we actually do what we need to this time, lol. Because I thought you could kill the thing, but I guess the fuck not. I remember this part of the game now, I just don't remember the dog. Like, did they add that? I genuinely don't remember that. Did you guys add DLC? Ah, nards. Oh. Work. This boss is so dumb. When I kill this pig. Just kidding, pigs are really cute. Thinking about Alexa Bliss and how she had a pig, and then it died. So sad. Do I really have to go down here? Another day. I've been having yummy breakfasts lately. I've also been doing a lot of cardio. It's either I wake up, like, I take like a 2-hour nap and then wake up, do cardio, and then sleep for the rest of the day, and then wake up around like 5 or 6, or I sleep the entire day and then don't do a lot of cardio. But I think that's a fair trade-off. Like, I don't think you're not supposed to work out every day. So, I think it's fair. I've been slacking with doing cardio lately though, so. I mean, you can work out every day, but I don't think that's recommended. I think it's like 4 times a week. I could be wrong, I'm not a fucking scientist. Nice. The way he didn't hear me explode. What? Oh. Yum.
Brother Miranda, if it's for you, I'd do anything.
Oh, I put a little lip gloss before I do a little workout.
I'll just be taking this.
Wait. What are you doing with Mother's special child?
She's not hers.
Oh, you have something to say?
What do you mean, mother's special child?
Mother wants her baby back.
Don't screw with me.
Wait, please. If you take it, then the others laugh at me, but if I do better than them...
What do I care?
Wait, just a little longer, please.
What's so funny?
You're stupid. You talk too much. It's all over. I plugged the way in.
What do you...
This is my territory. And I won't let you leave.
Shit.
Rawr. He talks like I can't even make the reference.
Damn, this way's no good. How do I get out of here?
Pretends to be shocked when this gets blocked off. Oh. Pretends to be shocked because it's actually open, but it actually doesn't pretend because I actually am shocked. I was shocked. Oh, I went to the beach today. By myself because I'm a fucking loser. I sat in a chair and watched the waves and listened to music for about like 3 hours. I took my shirt off, enjoyed the sun. Hello? Well. Anyways. Really? I thought... Oh my fuck. Where do I even go right now? Okay. Work, I guess? Goodbye. No, I burn so easily. I probably did get a sunburn. You would be able to tell more than me. Like on camera if I look sunburnt.
What was that?
The giant scary monster that's gonna kill us. You didn't know? Oh, sexy Chris time!
Research post or something? What the fuck are they doing here? Get off of me! Stay the fuck down!
Ethan! I gotta say, I'm surprised you made it this far. It'd be a shame if something happened to you now.
Sure, Chris. Why not? You killed Mia. Now do me and finish the job.
You don't know it yet, Ethan.
Hey, Cap. I'm getting some serious motion
Stupid.
readings out here. We should move on.
What kind of readings? What's moving?
Unknown, but my guess is we've been here too long, and Miranda knows it.
Hey, did you say Miranda? How are you involved?
Leave it alone, Ethan. You are out of your depth. What about the sample analysis?
It's definitely related to the mold.
You stay out of our business, Ethan.
What biz? God, watch out!
Work. Work slay. Fierce. Yes, God, honey.
Shit! Stay back!
He's so ugly. I don't even feel bad.
It's underwater. You're done.
I don't have time for this.
Bev, shut up.
Miranda sent you to slow me down? You're pathetic. What are you talking about? The fuck is wrong with you?
LOL flop. Anyways.
Supposed to do?
Ethan, I don't know. Ethan, you're stupid.
If it's just looking, window shop away. I'm skilled at all sorts of weapons modifications, and will do them for a small fee. To think I would buy such things. What? Ah, it's fine. All finished. Have a wonderful adventure.
Thank you.
If I can drain the water. Shit, there's no power.
Of course there isn't. Wouldn't be a horror game if there wasn't power to something. There's nothing in here. Got a crystal. We got some crystal. Yeah, we played it on release last year. So it does look like I'm kind of sunburned a little. But yeah, we played it on release last year. It was when I wore the pink jumpsuit. The Brad's jumpsuit, and then for the second stream, what did I wear? Oh, I did the Angie cosplay. Like the doll, the porcelain doll.
Seriously?
My silhouette. Oh! How did he survive that? Well, we know why. Looks around.
Not looking in fish food.
What did that drop? Oh, it didn't drop anything. Oh, it wants me to go back. Well. Hi Ava, so happy to see you. You just missed the sexy Chris part. No. I go back for you. I forgot some of these puzzles. It's crazy that, like, I thought I remembered everything and then, like, I just forget everything. So true. Whatever I just said. I don't even know what I just said, but whatever. Oh.
It stinks.
Ew. Worms. Stinky worms. Hello? Ideally, I should really hit... Ah, fuck. I need to hit blue first when we get over here. Hello? Can you calm down? That is not true. Watch me. Liv Morgan tease. I fell into... Hold on, let me move my mic because it's like kind of in the way. Watch like 1 hour of some guy watching... Oh my god. No, she was though, like actually. I love the Total Drama Island series. I've never watched the seasons after the first 3 though. Like I saw a video of some guy that ranked the seasons, like what he thinks the seasons were best to worst. I think because there's 6 seasons. I didn't... The Redonkulous race was stupid. That was dumb. I didn't watch it, but I saw like clips and I was like, girl, this is stupid as fuck. Wait, send me that though. I want to see. When Izzy is the mastermind in Danganronpa. Ah!
Caught myself a big one.
Shut up.
I need to get out of here.
My gird. Sorry, I keep saying my gird, and I don't like them, but my gird. I love Vivian Vanderpuss. Honestly, I think they're my pick to win. Same. Also, RuPaul was so wrong for that. Like, being like, you need to change your name, Heidi. Like, that was so... Oh, wait. I love Lady Boom Boom. Lady Boom Boom is doing really well. I like their stuff. Also,
Okay.
oh my god, Kimmy Couture. Their dance challenge, Kimmy should have won that last challenge. I love Jada, but I was like, Do you want that like dancing? I love. Do you want to do. I've never heard that part of what is that song? I feel like dancing. I've never heard that part of it. Oh my god, yeah, it was really... Wait, this episode? Oh, you mean the one tonight? I haven't seen it yet. Do you wanna do. I was stupid. I should have watched it before I went live. I'll watch it later. It doesn't really matter. Oh, I remember. It's like... So if this is it... If you like flip it, then it's... I'm like, how do we flip it? So the first row, wait, let me do it. No. Wait. Yes. Wait, no. Yes. That's how I'm gonna do it. Yes. Wait, no. This is fucking hard. I could literally wait, just wait. Just wait. Just hold on a second. I could cheat the system. I wanna dance the night away. Yeah, it was the same, Marshall, but if you keep watching, it's alright. There we go. That's what Snapchat is for. Do you wanna do. That song's stuck in my head now. Look what you did, Avacious. I'm sure my nipple has popped out a couple times for today's stream. Oops. What are they gonna do? Oh my god. Oh yeah, that's right, we have to fight him. Maybe I should do that first. Wait, let me get ammo. Your mom! One of my friends really doesn't like when I make your mom jokes and it makes me sad. I'm like, just let me have my moment. Let me make a funny. He gets very upset.
And buy it I will.
My phone falling, true. That poor phone.
I see. Anything else? Till next we meet.
Ava, did you see the Resident Evil chapter? We're getting Sheva and DBD. Sheva! And Carlos. That's my mother. Sheva, my mother. She dipped into the mother lake. Same. Well, I thought about it. If you do the math, so they're gonna put Carlos. Well, I guess it doesn't matter. Maybe they'll put Carlos as what's her name? Rebecca. Because they did a gender swap with Cheryl and what's his name from Silent Hill 2. Oh, his name's redacted, so I won't say it. Yes, since her game, yeah. Hi, Egg! Yikes. The fuck? Oh my god, I forgot he does acid rain. That's really bad. Big L.
Can't get caught in that.
Oh shit. The things she did. I'm excited. That's like scary. That's kind of like scary. Like things she did. I'm nervous. Ammo drain moment. Did I die at the end of the fight? Not the inflation.
And death is you lose in life. Disgusting.
Anywho,
The exit's up ahead.
I'll be making my way out. In my way out. Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun. I'll take this.
You're better off than I thought.
Who's that?
Heisenberg.
Oh, come on. We just met a while back. Not that it really matters.
You're the last
Oh, his
asshole.
voice is seductive.
You've got fight. I'll give you that, Ethan. But what's the plan when you have all 4 flasks?
What are you trying to get at?
Spill.
I could lend you a hand.
Not trying to get on my good side?
I don't get cocky. I'd kill you if you weren't worth the trouble. There's a stronghold not too far outside the village. Go there and get my flask. Do that, and you pass. First, head back to the graveyard.
Self-centered prick.
Well,
Is that alive?
that was really delayed. My chest looks like really pale. I'm really pale, but I look a lot paler than normal. We out. Well, at least we got the worst boss fight out of the way. I mean, Heisenberg's boss fight is pretty bad too, but it's okay because he's sexy. Well, he isn't sexy in the boss fight, but because he turns into a fucking transformer. Heisenberg is trans. So true. I think this is where the secret boss fight is. I could be wrong. I will show off the secret boss fight. I will. I will. I just don't know how to get there, so we're gonna try to get there. Yay, I got the Magnum. There's like a secret boss guy that He's like a cannibal. Oh, you scared me. Oh, it's the... Oh, Jesus. Oh, my God. Okay, guys. There's so much happening. Now, why did I do that? I just went backwards. Fuck. Can these bad things shut up? Oh my God, the noise is unbearable. Jesus fucking Christ. Seriously? Are there more? Like, go away. That noise is just terrible. He's like over here. We'll try to get there. I remember it, because I remember like loading my game back up after I played and I was like, oh, what? This way, Papa. Yeah, but I don't wanna do all that yet. Let's wait. Wait a minute. Is the 6-person key? Yep. I guess it doesn't matter. I haven't saved in a while. This is not a save house. This is not the right way. I am literally, I don't know why I'm up this late. I mean, I'm just stupid. Is it? We'll see. Yeah, I think it's this way. Yep, this is it. This is the secret boss. It's not really secret, but the game directs you in the opposite way, and it doesn't tell you to go this way, because it's like an optional thing. But this guy's called, like, the cannibal or something. Scary locked home. Hello? Hi. Enjoy your day. Thank you for coming. Hi. Oh, Jesus. Oh my god. Oh my god, he's so fast! He's so fast! He's so fast! He's so fast! What? He jumped up here that fast. Oh my god. Oh my god, I'm actually scared. Oh my god, he's about to jump again. Oh my god. Holly. Holly. Holly, I'm scared. Holly, I'm scared. Hi, Holly. Thank you so much for the raid. Everybody coming in. We're playing Resident Evil 8. Thank you so much for the raid, Holly. How are you doing? Oh my god, I'm literally scared. Like, I haven't been this scared at this game yet. I'm scared. I'm scared. Please, he's so fast! Like, what is that about? Where is he? Anybody that's new here, I do a lot of variety content and I do makeup and drag or whatever you want to call it 5 times a week. So thank you for coming. Holly, how was your stream? What did you do? Okay, please. Whoa! There's a lot happening right now. Thank you. I got in drag to do a photo shoot just like for, you know, myself. So, that's why I'm in drag this late. So I was like, fuck it. I want to do some progress on Resident Evil. So, that's where we are. But thank you so much. How was it? Did you enjoy it? Is it worth the price point? Cuz I know it's like it's not that expensive, but it is up there. It's like 25, 30. Cuz I'm really excited. It's 10? Can you guys please? Oh. The Dead by Daylight dating sim is $10? That's pretty cheap. Is he gonna die? He has so much health. Why did I decide to do this? Who told me to do this? You got 11 hours of your playthrough? What? You're joking. No way. Six endings? What the? That's kind of gaggy. So what do we do now? Yeah, that's the one we did for Bargain Bin twice. So we did the demo very early and then the extended demo, and now the game is out. Which is slay. Oh, there's mines. Of course, yeah, enjoy your lurk and your de-streaming. Somebody help me. Somebody help me. Oh my god! I'm gonna shit my pants. How is he still alive, bro? I have no words right now. He's still alive. I did it! Hey, Daddy. Damn. That took so much ammo. Was it? Was it worth it? Now, was it worth it? Now, was it worth the $10,000? Hell yeah. Well, that's the side boss you can do. Lol. And you get some meat. Because this guy's a cannibal, so that's like his gimmick. He likes that meat. I got a nice angel. I can be your angel or your devil. Well, that certainly happened. Can you guys I just got out of a boss fight. Are you serious? Oh, well, that's what you get. Not me about to die. After I get out of that fight, and so I'm gonna... That is so nasty. Like, what if I died there? I would have had to redo the entire fight. Capcom, you and your games. You and your silly little games to try and kill me. I'm too classy for this world. Baby, Still dark out. Really? Oh, my phone's on the floor because I dropped it. Oh. Soon, though. I don't know when I'm gonna go to the beach and take pictures in, but... Well. Ooh, baby, I. Is that the dog again? Come on, what the dog doing? I went the wrong way. Okay. Let's stay on the right track. I don't have any ammo for this. I have 15 bullets. I hate this part. Like, hate this part. Like, hate this part. Now me having to do another boss fight. I have to fight that thing underneath the town. Fuck. I go this way. Be quiet, Tiffany. Stop. Stop. Hey, Borpo. Goodbye. Thank God. This part is so unbearable, and I have no ammo.
This must be their den.
Yeah, very perceptive, Ethan. Very perceptive. Hello, everyone. I don't have ammo. I'm gonna heal myself. I'm gonna take my health and I'm heal myself. I'm gonna run into the can. No, fuck.
Okay, big guy.
There are so many of them. Like, so many of them. Like, so many of them. Guys, don't worry, I have sniper ammo. Don't worry, I have sniper ammo. Oh wait, there's collaterals? Wait a second. Hold, back it up. Oh, pfft. Well, that's awkward. Where is the guy? Oh, hello. Where's the big guy? This isn't even the main boss. Like, how am I gonna fight the main boss? Oh god, the mini boss is chasing me to the main boss. Oh Jesus. Alright, fun's over. Be calm, Ethan. Be calm. I'll craft some explosive rounds, some shotgun. Maybe not my best move because now I don't have any health. Damn. Can I eat this? Can I eat the meat? Don't take that somewhere it shouldn't go.
That's not good.
No, it's not, Ethan. It's not. It's really not. I just got rid of the I just got rid of the ammo that I was gonna pick up. Well, it was fun while it lasted. Oh my god. Oh. Hello. Hello. serve me? Hi, Cole. All right. Oh, what is physics? Thank you, Cole. You should probably be sleeping. I have nothing. I have nothing. I have nothing. Nothing. Nothing at all. Please don't kill me. No! Oh my god. Oh my god. Run. 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 All right, I get it. I lost. I got it. Oh, I love those emotes. Those are cute. Okay, please. I do look so pretty today. With a filter. Ugh. It's still not bright out. I really want to get pictures at sunrise. Like, I really want to get pictures at sunrise. I don't know what outfit I would wear for that. Like, what is the fit for sunrise? Yes, Mr. Spot. What is that? What is that next to your name? I kind of want to, like, lay in the sand and be, like, sexy. Wait, that's the new TwitchCon badge? Oh, I have one then. Wait, let me do it. I'm on the website too. They're like, Nemesis is going. I'm like, oh. Like, people like were talking, like messaging me. And we're like, oh my god, you're going? And I was like, I just signed up. Wait, why won't it let me change mine? It looks like, Cole, you're so drunk. Like, I like, you're not even talking, but I already know you're drunk. Send me a nice message while you're drunk. Switch to non-mod settings. Chat appearance. My tits hurt. Oh yeah, how are you feeling? I'm definitely going. I don't know where I'm staying, but I'm going. My flights are booked to PAX and TwitchCon, but I don't know where I'm staying. And I'm just like, you know what? Whatever. Why won't it let me change my chat, dick? Is it just because I can't see my... It should be under chat appearance, shouldn't it be? Fuck you, Cole. Never mind. But yeah, I will be at TwitchCon. I will. I sure will. I'll be at that party too or whatever. I don't want to brag or anything, but I'm happy Partners got a discount on tickets. Because I'm like, fuck yeah. True. I mean, it helps me out because I'm broke as shit. And I needed to not spend $250 on a ticket. I almost just threw up. I just hope everything is like fine, because like I know like unfortunately they're not doing great protocols for the con, which everybody at PAX, I'm not saying like this is okay, but PAX's their protocols were pretty good and there was still like an outbreak, which sucked. So I'm like, why is Twitch just like not? And then like, and PAX was like strict too. Like if you took your mask down, like there was someone on the floor to like point at you and make you put it up like immediately after. So, and then all of the people I was around at PAX got COVID, but I didn't, thankfully. Like I don't know how I escaped it. I didn't at GCX. I didn't get COVID, but I got con flu. There are two different things, which is scary because everybody thinks it's COVID, but it can be con flu. But I got it at GCX and yes, I'm getting that before I go. That's what I'm nervous about. I'm very nervous about it. And I'm like, I want to like travel a lot. Like I want to go to the Scooby-Doo Museum and I want to go to like, what is it? Not Pittsburgh. It's where Talos lives with Anne and be like their baby. I'm baby. I also want to go back to Florida. So I would like to, you know, not be at risk for stuff. I need to like travel for essentially work, so I need to get my booster. I need to get my booster and my... Well, they're not handing them out very nicely. Not the boosters, the other one. Well, clearly not. I'm not at risk of your nuts or D's nuts. Your mom's nuts. True. How do I don't think this fight is possible with what we have. I don't think. Let me get rid of the Schmeat. Yeah. I don't have any mods on duty, so. Everybody's asleep. No one care me. No one care me. Everybody just leaves me on red all day. No one care me. I want an animated emote so bad. Mine are like animated, but they're like not like made to be animated. That you got what? Oh. Nothing, Marshall. Nothing. I got it.
That's not good.
Very perspective. I keep saying perspective. What's cozy? That was a good shot. I'm quite the catch. Oh, shit. He said, fuck you, I guess. Damn. Shut down. Rejected. Used to it, I guess. Cole, I'm begging you to drink water and sign off. Go craft a message or two. Write in your notes app and sign off. You are drunk. I already know it. You're stupid as fuck right now. You're also delirious because you're awake at this hour. Literally, let's get you to bed, honey. Well, it's official. I have no ammo left. Please, God. Please, God, if you're here, God. Please, God, if you're here, God. Pina, the horse is here. Pina! 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 Oh my Jesus. I'm gonna drink my chem fluid. I'm gonna drink chem fluid IRL. He just ignores what I said and responds to Ava. True. Wouldn't be the first time. Oh! Is he dead? Oh, thank God. Oh, Jesus.
Eat shit.
Me doing 2 major boss fights in a row, so I have no ammo to do any of the fights. What the fuck is this? Anyways. Anyways, little bitch, get the fuck off the internet. The fuck is this? You're stupid. Trying to rhyme twink. I can't.
Real deal, Ethan.
I didn't say write a fucking haiku!
Quit hiding, asshole. I'm not letting you get out of this.
Cool.
Please don't look at my hairy nipples.
More, and you're all wrapped up.
I'm 100% positive they've been on the stream tonight.
So in exchange,
I should have shaved them, I'm sick.
Exchange what?
first of all, come to me. Put all the flasks in the altar, and I'm sure you'll figure the rest out. See you, Ethan.
Isn't it Heisenberg and then you go straight to Mother Miranda? This is too much. Too much. But then we have to do the underground thing. It was very glam. You had to pluck them? Why didn't you shave them with a razor? Why'd you pluck them? Baby, do I have to drive this boat? Can you just go? Do I really have to drive this fucking boat? Oh my god. They don't let you use a razor before the what? Yeah, well, there's a twink in chat that doesn't want to take a tweezer to his eyebrows either, so... That was just uncalled for and mean, but I wanted to call out Marshall for not plucking his eyebrows. Well. I do, just not as much as you'd like. So you keep the unibrow on purpose? I'm sorry. I love you. Sorry, I saw the joke and I had to make it. Please. Just pretend I'm Bianca Del Rio for a second. Just 1 second. Just like squint. What does CBF mean? I read it as cock ball fuck. So true. I barely leave the house and just cock ball fuck most of the time. True. Twinks are oppressed. Good! Y'all don't know how to act right. You deserve it. Ermagerd. So am I gonna have to do everything around here? Twinks are never happy. They also make everybody shit and fart and die. Oh, don't open that. Cole's drunk and about to go on a rant. Ava, look what you did. Now Cole's gonna get nasty in the chat. Look what you did. Wait, I thought we were going this way. Oh no, we're not. What do twinks have to complain about? I'm confused. Ooh, we're gonna stop there. Oh, I'm bleeding. I don't know how some of this happens sometimes. Like, remember that one time I cut, like, the tips of my fingers, like, all 10 of my fingers? Like, just from doing my makeup? Like, what? And now I have a gash in my middle finger? Alright. I don't like the way this thing looks at me. One shot, one kill. The way I'm gonna get so oh, I thought you were you made a typo.
Pleasure to see you return alive.
Oh, here he goes.
Particular.
Can't you just go back to ignoring me and leaving me on red for 12 hours? Be gone, twink. Sorry. We did it. We did it, Joe. We did it, Joe. Your 5'6" tiny top powers to Marshall, the other tiny top. That's 5'7". So instead of since you're 5'6" and Marshall's 5'7", does that mean when you leave, Marshall grows to 5'8" and gets a little more dom? Because y'all are like this. No, you're 5'7". Now you are. Have you got any idea? Yes, I know how late it is, but I'm mentally ill. No, you're 5'6" and Marshall is 5'7". Does it matter when you're down here? You guys are at my boob. No, you're at my crotch. Well, you're like at my knees. You're tiny. How tall is Curtis? Does anyone know? Has Curtis said before? I think Curtis is 5'2". The OG tiny top.
Don't worry about the kid, Ethan. It'll be fine.
It's like 5'4". Because when I met Curtis, I love Curtis, but I was like, I'm a huge woman. Marshall, are you gonna approve any of the automod messages? You just said you got on PC. That's why I've been waiting for them to be automodded. I thought you were on your PC. I said I'm about 5'2". Yeah, because when I met Curtis, I was like, oh, I'm huge. Jesus. A lot of short people in this chat. Yeah, it's because they want to be dommed by a strong they, them, and they're obsessed with my they, them pussy, so... It's just how it goes. But hi, Meow Meow. Happy to see you. Hope you're doing well. See how they all got quiet when I called them out? It's funny sometimes. I should mention Fallout and they'll get up. God, this part is unbearable. The first part of the game I was like, oh my god, this is so slay, and then now it's like, this is unbearable. Yeah, and sorry, I'm just so sexy. She's a 10, but she's a Pisces. Chat, what's your response? Let's play that game. She's a 10, but she's a Pisces. Go on.
Ah, Ethan Winters. Welcome. I didn't think you'd make it past Daughter Moreau, but I suppose you survived worse back in America, hmm? I like you. I'd like to speak to you about
The immediate zero? Wow.
Don't worry. It's not
Alright, Pisces haters.
What are you planning?
Is this another Pisces thing? I'm supposed to put a number. True. That's a Pegasus. Your mom. You walked right into that one. You're the only Pisces? I am definitely a Pisces. I'm pretty sure anybody with eyes and ears knows that I'm a Pisces. It's like bad.
What the hell?
I like really wish I wasn't. Like honestly, it's so, I like literally hate being a Pisces.
Truth hurts, don't.
And honestly, sometimes I'm like, yeah, I love being a Pisces. No, I'm lying. It's terrible.
Your thing.
Do I cry almost every day? Yes.
And then he gets going.
Do I want to? No.
I'm healing my daughter.
Look, you got the soul wrong. Tell me I'm talking.
Just kidding. I haven't cried in a while.
Shut your fucking hole! Sorry about that.
When was the last time I almost cried today doing my makeup, but like I haven't like sat down and had like a good cry in like a couple of months.
What are you talking about? You
Well,
think this is a game?
I said sit!
we'll see how long that lasts. I feel a breakdown coming on with a lot of crying, so yes, being a human is exhausting.
Don't you get
I'll make you an honorary Scorpio. I actually have feelings and emotions that I can open up to other people about, so I'm not a Scorpio.
test? To see if you're strong enough to be a part of Miranda's?
I'm sorry, that was so mean. That was in the depths of my soul. Oh.
I don't want
That was so, I'm so rotted to the twinks tonight. It's so bad. Damn.
to be a part of Miranda's family.
Neither did I, but here we are. And I'm next in line, right? Kill me, move up the chain. Well, fuck that!
I don't give a damn about your personal issues. I just want to fix my daughter.
Yeah, but why is it? Explain to me this. Every single time I've had a boyfriend, right? Why is it a Scorpio when I'm a Pisces? All of my exes are Scorpios. How does that work? Explain! Who's up in the stars and the astrology that's doing that? That is so nasty.
So do I. Do you have any idea how powerful that kid is? Even Miranda's.
How am I supposed to sleep? You'll sleep fine. Stop acting like a victim.
I swear to God!
Shut up. You'll sleep fine like every night when you say, yeah, I'm going to bed.
Together, we can go save Rose, and we can use her.
Yeah, I don't get it either.
To peace.
My daughter is not a weapon.
There's about to be a TikTok. I just know it. Isn't it?
Last chance. You don't have to find out what's in that hole.
I'll take my.
Yeah, Cole's like up. Cole's like all-nighter. Let's go.
You're futile.
Oh, woo! Penis music, penis music, penis music, penis music. Doink, 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 doink. Oh, yeah.
Damn it!
Pound the alarm. How do we feel about my hair today? I usually don't do a middle part. Do I look pretty? I have like a giant forehead and I'm like really insecure about it. I used to get bullied in middle school when I had, so when I've told y'all this, like when I grew my hair out when I was in middle school, it was like down to here and it was like red and curly, and that's like before like the internet and like Twitter. Yeah, I was in middle school before the internet and Twitter. But when my hair was down and long, I didn't know what like trans or non-binary was. I should have just kept my hair long. Like I should have never cut it. But I remember I used to get made fun of for having long hair, and because it was curly too. I remember all the kids used to make fun of me for having a middle part and long hair. And I just like have always had that insecurity since, like, that's why I always do side parts and I always put my hair up, because like I'm so insecure. Like the trauma I possess with my hair down, like when I post or like I post a picture with my hair down or I ask if you like my hair down, say something, because I'm about to start crying because like the trauma is like so bad. Like the bullies were malicious. Like I have literally trauma from the bullies back then, from like how transphobic they were when my hair was down or how my hair looked when it was down. I know it sounds literally silly and ridiculous as fuck, but like that's why like I never wear my hair down. I never wear my hair middle part. Like and that's why I haven't grown my hair out until like now. Thank you all. I don't know, a lot of my insecurities and like stuff that I like shit on myself on are from like just from like middle school trauma. Cause like when I moved the start of middle school, 6th and 7th, so middle school is 6th, 7th, and 8th. I moved to Vermont in 6th and 7th, and when I lived in Vermont, I got the shit kicked out of me. Like my hair was long, like transphobes were nasty, and like they were so horrible to me. Like the teachers would watch me get beat up. I mention this all the time and everybody's always like shocked, but I always like say it. But the teachers would watch me get beat up in the hallway and then give me a detention for being late, for how transphobic those teachers were. And like this is literally before the internet. Like I did not know, like I couldn't, if this was nowadays, it'd be all over the internet, but it was not a thing back in the day. So I would like get made fun of for like anything feminine, and that's why I'm like always like posing like either masculine on a drag or like something, but I'm trying to lean towards feminine. And then like I used to get made fun of because of my teeth, my nose, I remember everybody used to make horrible anti-Semitic jokes. Like everybody was like so horrible about me being Jewish. Like they were so anti-Semitic, like always making HIT jokes. Finish that, you know what that is. They'd always say stuff like that, and like big nose because I'm Jewish, and like that's the stereotype. Like it's horrible. It was horrible. So that's why I'm insecure about my nose, and my teeth have just been terrible my entire life because I haven't had braces ever. And then my hair and being feminine. So those are my insecurities. If you want to make fun of me and make me cry, probably say those things. So thank you, Purple, for subscribing 6 months in advance. Thank you, baby. I appreciate it. Thank you. But like, when people actually compliment those things about me, like, I'm literally on the edge of like tears. Like, I think it was literally earlier today. I was like, oh my god, like, people actually think I'm cute out of drag. And I almost like started crying. I was literally making my coffee for the day and I was like, oh my god, like, that's like a reality. It like kind of just hit me like a truck. I was like, oh. Hello? How many bullets y'all take? Glad to be here. Welcome in. Thank you for your subscription. I hope you enjoy your child's evolution through the 6 months. Thank you so much. It benefits me, it helps me, and supports me as a creator. Thank you. No, I've always wanted to like go back to Vermont and see like the kids that used to bully me and like just literally like bring like a squad and be like, what's up? Yeah, honestly, like, if you see pictures of me, like, I saw, like, pictures of me and my ex-boyfriend, and I have it saved here, and I'm not gonna cry about it, but, it's not that I'm like, oh my god, my ex-boyfriend, but I hate that I cheated myself into thinking that I was so masculine, like, I like lied to this man. Not lied. I don't know how to explain it. Like, I posed as masculine for like 3 years and almost got married to this guy. And like, it's like cringe. Like, the fade haircut and like the button up and the shorts. Like, that is so cringe. Like, what are you doing? Like, I can't believe I like spent like wasted away so many years like pretending to be. It honestly doesn't even feel like me. It feels like someone in a past life of like being, I can't even remember like who that person was. I don't even know who that person was. Like pretending to be a certain type of masculine for somebody. Like, I'd rather die than do that today. And like nowadays I definitely do a tribute. I guess like kind of exhibit, I don't know the word. I do like being masculine, but in like a feminine type of way. That's so hard to explain, but like I love like that line of androgyny and just being like non-binary and hot. I love that like teetering that line. And that's why I use like they them, but also like I'm on the trans femme spectrum because like I want to be trans femme, but I like being like a masculine, feminine person. That is so hard to explain, and I hate it. I hate it, but that's just what I want to be. Like, that's just what I want to be. I want to be like Rhea Ripley, and I want to be a hot, MILF, masculine, mommy, sexy person. I just, like, I can't explain it to you, and it's so exhausting, like, to explain to people, especially with, like, my occupation and what I do full-time, and then, like, I'm having a meltdown on the live. But like to be like, yeah, I'm non-binary, but I'm also trans femme, but I also like being masculine and feminine at the same time. And then I also like to be this mommy, like, it's so... And then yeah, I stream full time. That's my job. Okay. Yeah, I hate it. I mean, when like people get it, they get it. Me last stream, I'm like, yeah, like me last stream, I'm like, yeah, I'm tired of explaining myself to people and putting myself like 500% into people. Me this stream, I'm gonna sit here for like 30 minutes and talk about my gender identity and like relationships again. I don't know how I go on these tangents, I just do. But like, would you rather me sit here and be quiet? I mean, that's how I am off stream. I'm just like, I'm gonna sit here and not talk for an hour.
Yes, yes.
Anyways, some of y'all need to message first.
This is Lord Moreau's? I suppose it's what they call the beauty of the grotesque.
I'm an ally.
I saw you eyeing that one.
Would I buy everything in here?
Uh-huh. Please let me know if you'd like to strengthen your weapons. Delighted to.
I mean, like, I don't know where I'm trying to lead this conversation, but I don't know. I just think I'm great. So, I think it's just like, what were we talking about Talos yesterday? I was venting to Talos and I was just like, I'm so great and the world just kind of like needs to catch up. And I mentioned that on stream before, but I think like part of the reason I get like so frustrated and like antsy is because first of all, I'm impatient. Second of all, I'm a Pisces. Third of all, I'm mentally ill. But fourth, I'm great and everybody needs to acknowledge that.
What? Ah, it's fine. All finished. Delighted to.
Also, everybody needs to like just get in it. Everybody needs to stop being, oh, should I even say this? Oh. Everybody just needs to stop being little bitches and I'm gonna stop. No, I'm gonna stop.
Aha. Aha. Please come again.
I will not be going to bed. The sun's rising. Oh. I want to go take my pictures. I am capping because I'm going to take my pictures. I'm ending stream. I want to take sexy pictures on the beach. What I'm saying is that I shouldn't have to do everything around here. Everybody needs to fucking stop being little bitches and let me fucking live my best life. Because living life shouldn't be with yourself. It should be around other people that make you feel good. So everybody needs to fucking get on this shit and do better. So NemesisLacroix and stop being little pussies and buck up and start making moves and doing things and doing the best for everybody. Because if you do good things for other people, especially Nemesis Network, good things are gonna happen to you in it. Anyways, I'm going to take pictures at the sunrise. So I will have, oh, fuck me in the ass. I'll just take pictures on my phone. I was gonna do it with my camera, but I guess not. Anyways, goodbye. I'll be live tomorrow. Oh, fuck. Maybe I won't be. For this weird random stream. Yeah, I got, for anybody that is wondering why I'm streaming this late, I got in drag for me and me only. I wanted to look sexy. And then I decided to stream, so. And I also wanted to make sure this hair was pretty, so, because I just did it. But yeah, I'll see y'all tomorrow or Saturday. We definitely will be streaming on Saturday, but I don't know if I'm going to stream tomorrow, so. I think Saturday. Yes, Saturday. So, talk to y'all later. Thanks for hanging.